with our breathing. Breathing exercise is one of the fundamental Qigong exercise, energy exercise, or yoga exercise that is about how to breathe. As we said in our earlier sessions, the best way to breathe in, your regular breathing should be 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds off. Exhale. You should breathe like that all day long. Many of you breathe very shallowly. So what I want you to do is that once you remember, let's do 30 times 5.5 seconds in and 5.5 seconds off. But today, because what I want from you is I want you to calm your mind and focus and open your heart. So by doing that, we will do 10 times breathing exercise. This is one of the Taoist breathing exercise. So what we do is we put our left hands on our dantian. Dantian is 3 fingers below the belly button. And we put our right hands over our left hands. We hold dantian. And now I want you to really just kind of visualize, meditate yourself as a tree. And you breathe in as much as you can with your nose. And you breathe out as much as you can with your mouth. We will do 10 times together. Ready?
Dr. Liu, we've lost you. Keep breathing, everybody, till Dr. Liu returns.
Now we will start our 10 energy movements. 10 energy movements is based on 易筋经, 八段锦, that's first introduced by 达摩祖师, that was 2,000 or 3,000 years back. And because 易筋经 actually existed before Damo. And first to practice this 8 movement or 6 movements actually was Taoist, and then they add to 8, and then we added to 15, and then now I reduced to 10, but eventually we'll add the other 5 back. So now let's start with our first movements. The first movement is to open up our sanjiao, our connected meridian lines, and also to promote healthy body fluid. We will do either 5 or 10 times. As you can see, every time I will do it a little bit differently, because with practice we get better. We can do more comprehensive movements. If you have stomach pain, bloating, this will also help, or lymphedema. Now let's move to the next movement. Open up our heart and liver meridian line as well. Our lymphatic system. Promote the immune system. I want people to see how my legs are. Now the whole body. And you should feel your leg muscles are very stable. You shake a little bit, that's very normal. Now we change to the third one. The third movement is to help with stomach and spleen. So the top part of the hands, I want you to feel your waitress. You're holding a plate up, the lower down. One up. We're opening the stomach channel, spleen. When people have intestinal inflammation and stagnation, this is a good movement to do as well. Now the next movement. So today I want you to put your hands like this. Okay, before we want to put behind your kidney, but today we're just adding this movements. Put your hands like this, and now just slowly turn your head. Just turn your head. I want you to be able to look at your. If you start, you may just look at your kind of foot, but eventually you'll be like me, you can really see your butt. That's one of the best way to promote spine health. A lot of you have neck tightness, headaches. With a woman, this help to promote ovarian health. With men, prostate health. The next movement, we are shaking our head and our tail. Imagine we have that. And to get rid of the heart fire. Move your head. Now I want you to look at your butt. And this will help to reduce heart fire, therefore will help to sleep, also to help reduce constipation. We are only doing a simplified version when we have stronger legs, and I'll lead you to the next level. The next move. We are strengthening our lower back and also our kidney health. Next move, we focus on the liver health. I need you to bring the energy back. Last movements, and I want you to feel that someone is pulling something up out of your bai hui. You try to reach that, so you go up as much as you can and let it drop. If you have kidney stones, kidney failures, kidney infections, UTIs, this is a good move for you. Okay, so now the next two movements really is for flexibility. Here. So 6 very important meridian lines, the Du meridian lines, the Ren meridian lines, 6 arm meridian lines, and we will go this direction first. After people cannot see me. You go as low as you can, okay? And you should feel everything is stretching out. Now I will challenge you to put your hands like this. You see, you can do it. That really will help you to stretch everything out. Now, our last movement. The last movement really is to, again, the whole the whole meridian lines in your systems, and I want you to stretch them out. That will help to reduce stagnation and reduce the whole body stagnation. Oh, you're so lucky. Okay. You want to stretch out with me, Apu? I'm going to put my head on yours. And you feel the whole body is blossoming. Your blood flows very smoothly, your energy flows very smoothly. And on the last one, we will lean down for just a couple seconds longer. So our teaching today's topic is 5 phases, or 5 elements, or 5 systems. What is our fundamental beliefs? We said we are nature. Nature is in us. We are a part of nature. We have rivers and mountains and road and flow and all this in us. Nature is in us. We are a part of nature. So this is very, very important. This is our fundamental beliefs. Then really is how to find the rhythm of nature and how to follow that. Then we discovered there are 2 principal energy. It's called the energy of yin and energy of yang. They interact with each other, interdependent, and together they create an energy flow. So everything we can trace back to the energy of yin and energy of yang. One cannot be without each other. Everything is ever-changing system. Yin can eventually become yang, yang can eventually become yin. Yin interact with yang, and yang interact with yin, that create that constant energy flow. So what is this energy of yin and energy of yang? When they give birth to 5 basic moving systems. 五行, 五 means 5. 五 is a very interesting number because 五 is a completion of a small reincarnation, a small change in nature. So every 5 days, nature will have a little energy change, right? 5 elements that these elements are not just the concrete element, right? They are 五行. 行 means moving system, moving phases, moving system. So what are the 5 moving systems or moving phases? 木, wood, 火, fire, 土, earth, 金, metal, 水, water. So I give in this order that this 5 moving phases, elements, and systems, and they promote each other. And they, energy yin and yang, give birth to these 5 basic phases. And each phase has a leading element into it, right? So we said 5 in this order: wood, fire, earth, metal, water. They create a circle that this circle promote each other. We also says this 5 elements, when we name in such order: 金, metal, 木, wood, 水, water, 火, fire, 土, earth. When we name this in this order, they control each other. We will need both to promote and control, and our systems are related or are the representations of these 5 basic moving systems or elements. So for instance, and also that correspond with nature, with seasons. Wood, season, spring. And in our system, liver. So what is the main character of this? Wood cannot be suppressed. So when wood becomes suppressed, that will either cause liver yang rising. That means that, you know, when you see someone who has bad temper, you know that liver yang is too much. That, or liver energy stagnation when you suppress it. So that again will lead to different imbalances. Either if it's overgrow or undergrow, you suppress, or you let it overgrow, will cause different variety of imbalances of the system that will lead to different type of illnesses. So I know this is a very difficult concept to grasp, but this tells us the fundamentals of what we base our principles on, is on these 5 elements. They correspond with different seasons, different organ system, and different time of the day as well. When everything is in the flow with everything else, then we are well. When things are out of balance, let's say if someone has too much dampness in their spleen system, then that will create a lot of memory loss, weight gain as a symptoms, right? So then that is a part of your digestion. That means your earth system, the system of the earth is off, then we'll have to figure out a way to help you to balance that. So a very basic traditional Chinese medicine diagnosis, we always try to see how to help you to create that two type of energy in your yin and yang, and to balance that, and how to balance these 5 elements. So, but again, that is easy said than done, right? In the split moment, you look at, a lot of times when people ask me, how do you know that? And are you a psychic? No, I'm not a psychic. And but I know that because that moment when I try your pulses, when I look at you, so I know where the imbalances are, where the 5 elements went wrong, and who has over-controlled, who is underperforming, and so on and so forth. So this is the basic concept of 5 moving phases, 5 moving elements. So now we know we are a part of nature, yes? So our well-being rely on the well-being of the nature. If nature is ill, it's very hard for us to be well. Can that be, is that doable? Yes, it is. It is. But we have to use a lot of energy. And then that is really, it's doable, but it's very difficult, right? So protect nature, being a part of nature is very important. And always try to understand we are made of energy, right? So the energy in us, that is us. And then from the energy, we give birth to elements, to these 5 moving systems. So to understand, these are the basic concepts of traditional Chinese medicine that help you to understand when I says, well, look, if you have stagnation, that's not good, right? We got to get the stagnation moving, because if your stagnation isn't moving, then that means some systems in your body, some moving elements are out of order. That will lead to serious illnesses. So that is the basic concept of 5 moving phases. Okay, Sarah, tell me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Liu. So just to recap, there are moments when these phases are in harmony in our bodies, and then there are moments when, and as you said, it's an ever-changing process. One of our attendees is having a difficult time understanding how these elements can be in us. So for example, the element of fire. Now you mentioned that the elements are related to organ systems within the body. Could you take one element and just focus a little bit on how that relates to our physical and emotional, spiritual well-being?
Which element do you want me to focus on?
Well, let's talk about fire element.
Okay, fire. 火. Fire is an element of, if it's correspond in season, that is summer, right? So it's the abundance of the abundance, right? It's the maturity, it's the warmth. So that's the element. So when people in our system, that is the heart system. The heart system, we have 五脏六腑. 五脏 is the 5. 脏 is more yin organ systems. That is like well, they call they call the shots more, right? And it's important. What is all important? It's really, they have to all work together. But within this fire that corresponding to heart system, that is, we call that king right? The king system is that it's such a system that has to have constant energy goes into the heart as an organ, also as a heart as a system, because the heart system, heart wants, heart gets, right? The whole system is it's like a king, is to give the king what the king really wants. So the king can, there's, let's see, how do I explain that? So, well, in the Western world, we say, oh, you have a soul. But in Eastern world, the soul has different parts of the soul, right? That together you have a soul, and but the soul has different part. Different part lives in different systems, or different systems host the different part. So the heart, 神明生言, that means 神 is the spirit. That's the part of the soul is given. So that is, it's not yours, right? It's given. It's that, it's the creation of, is the very precious spirit that is given to you. Ming, that means for you to have a sound mind, for you to be able to live in this world, make sound decisions. So Shen and Ming, they live together in your heart system. When the heart is the fire, when this element, let's say the fire need to be this gentle flame, right? Constant, in and out, to receive the best nutrients from the whole system constantly. So if this element is out, let's say if we have too much, if this burner turned too high, right? If the fire is too much, then people they will experience that likely anxiety. If your fire is, the fire is fake fire, right? You will feel that anxiety is not depression, that you will feel that you just kind of, just have that fluttering heart feelings. Also that will begin to cause the divisions between the heart and kidneys that will lead to not able to sleep well. If the heart is turned too high, and people will go out of their mind because their reason, they are no longer, the fire is a fake fire, it's not genuine, because the genuine hard fire has to be consistent and on the lower side, has strength, does not have that kind of fake power. That's the difference. If people's heart system is off, then they will make no sense. They will lose their mind. So that's because, remember, we said these elements are all interact with each other. So by picking one, it will not do. But this will give you some ideas about if this element is off, then what will happen to a person.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. These are really very different concepts for us, but also just appreciating the complexity of it is really amazing. How do we be mindful as we transition through the seasons? How do we appreciate the elements of winter? Like, how does it relate to our well-being? What kinds of things help us to continue that connection?
So winter is a season of storing, right? Winter is you can't compete with Afu's voice. So winter is a season of storing the energy of everything is because the yang is within and yin energy is out more. So is where we slowly strengthen the kidney system. In wintertime, that's the water, and water is the kidney system. So we, when we move slowly. That helps as well, but we have some movements, and when we sweat gently. When we eat, we mostly eat warm food. However, winter is a good time if you want to eat some meat, and meat is appreciated because meat has a lot of yang energy in it, and your yang energy is within, and then that can help to digest. So we have a list of winter food that we can post that in winter time we teach people, when to get up. You are not supposed to get up so early. In summertime, let's say wake up or get up at 5:45, and in winter time be later, 6:15. 6:30, and it's good. Get up slowly and always keep your feet warm, and that is important. We say keep your head cold, keep your belly warm, keep your feet hot. So these are the basic things in winter you should be doing. But again, that we won't give you a winter food list, then you will know what to eat.
So in order to support our internal system with supporting the elements as we transition through the seasons, there are foods to support our bodies.
Yes.
There are
exercise we should be doing, and there are a list of things that we should be following, which it's again that it's we can give the guidelines to people.
And so that's really what you mean. That's an example of following the rhythm of nature, because some people were having a hard time really saying, what do we do to follow the rhythm of nature? So I think, being aware of something like the seasonal changes, supporting your body through the seasons.
Exactly, seasons and days, right? Because every day there's a rhythm, and to follow every 2 hours, and there is a change. How do we best to follow that change? And that should be our next topic. And I'll show you what is the 12 shichen we call. Shichen is the 12 nature change or the nature change throughout the day. How do we follow it? What is the best thing to do or not to do during those hours? So that's what I meant by following the rhythm of nature. You follow it every day. You followed it every 5 days, and there's a small change. You are aware, and by changing certain food, by doing the breathing exercise with it, by being mindful of what to take action, what to wait out, and every 15 days, there's a greater change, yes? And every season, there is the greatest change. So how do we work with it? One of the concerns has always been that we call that 四时不正. 四时不正 is whether the season has become a little bit of strange. So that will inevitably lead to illnesses, and which that lead to, if we want to talk about a little bit of the COVID, and that will be a natural fit. Only if you want. Tell me what you want.
Dr. Liu, we have one question as we are just wrapping up here. We're almost out of time. Someone is asking about, it's interesting that we have 4 seasons and 5 elements. Could you talk a little bit about that?
So 4 seasons in traditional Chinese medicine, there's a specific season cut that we borrow part summer, part early fall. We call that 廊下. 廊下 is long summer. And also the tradition that I follow, there is 4 seasons 5 elements, and there is one element that intertwines with everything. That is the element of earth. That is your digestion. So that's why we say, 脾胃为后天之本. Your digestive system is the second most important thing in your body that has to be nurtured all year long. That's why I keep on saying, have you pooped? Right? What is your diet? And that's why it's so important. But we do cut a part of summer, a part of the fall into a long summer. And that is more, we give spleen a specific time to be strengthened. That's why spleen system is so important in balancing the whole well-being of you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Liu. Really complex and really interesting. We are all out of time. Thank you so much, everybody. I know lots of questions are coming through. I will make available the seasonal eating guidelines. Please get in touch with me. I will go ahead and just DM everyone my email if you are interested in winter dietary guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you,
See you
Dr.
all
Liu.
next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Thank you.
Dr. Liu.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Dr. Liu and Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah, have a good week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
you so much.
Very valuable. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Thank you, Dr. Liu and Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Liu. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah and Dr. Liu.
And thank you to whoever's behind with the cameras there too.
Thank you, Dr. Liu.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Afu.
Thank you.
Thank you.